Hello, my name's Jay. I'm the co-chair of the Empty Bowls Caring Hearts Organizing Committee. As you know, this year our event is a truly empty bowls event as we won't be serving any soup. But we're here to reach out to you with some recipes, and I'm going to demonstrate making the soup at home so that you can fill up your own bowls. Thank you again for everybody who's participated. We're about a week out when I'm filming this, and we're about 2/3 to our goal, so we're really happy with the response that we've been getting, and hopefully you'll enjoy the soup. Today I'm going to make some mojakka. I'll be putting the recipe up on our website at emptybowlsthunderbay.com. So the recipe gives some options on what type of meat to use. I picked up a pork shoulder because that was what was on sale. You're going to want to trim off the skin, any connective tissues and any bones that are there, and chop it up into good bite-sized pieces. Here I cut them a little larger because that's how I like mine, and diced it up. You could also use beef, I think is the traditional one. And then I put a glug of oil and a bit of butter into the pot and melted that down, and then I mixed in all the meat there to start browning. Now the pork especially will give off a lot of moisture once it starts to cook, and really you want to boil that moisture off so that it can start frying and browning and really developing that flavor. So the big thing here is once you've got it stirred in and that oil covering all the surfaces, is to let it sit fairly undisturbed. In between those cuts there was probably 5 or 6 minutes. I think it was about 10 minutes total that I was cooking this, and by that point the moisture had boiled off and it really started to develop a nice brown color. And then I added enough water to cover the meat, getting most of the water into the pot, and another inch or two above the level of the meat as per the recipe. Now you can braise this in the oven, which helps to keep it from getting scorched. So that's what I did. I put it in the oven for at about 300 while I peeled and chopped the vegetables. So I just gave the potatoes a quick peel. I've got a rutabaga there because that's what I was able to find, and peeled that. I was using more carrots and more onions because the ones that I had were quite small. So I've got a couple of small onions, which here I peeled and chopped up fairly coarsely. The mojakka is a pretty basic soup. There's not a lot of fancy technique to it. It's just good comfort food, and it's great especially when it's a little chilly out. Also, I should note that I've sped this video up by about 5 times, so please don't try and chop this quickly. You'll probably hurt yourself. And after I diced up all of these vegetables, I put them aside while the meat was braising in the oven, and I let that go for about an hour and a half. And by that point the pork had softened up quite nicely, and then I moved it back to the stovetop and added in all of the vegetables just all at once, and again managed to get almost all of them into the pot, which I'm quite proud of. And here I added the allspice and the peppercorns as the recipe called for, and I just covered it up to get it back up to a simmer. And at that point I let it simmer for about 45 minutes. And at that point the potatoes and the rutabagas had softened up, so I just salted it to taste. I tend to undersalt on the stove and let people add a bit more at the table. Added a whole bunch of ground black pepper, and that's about it. The mojakka was all done. This is a really nice and very accessible soup. I like to serve it with a little bit of cayenne to heat it up a bit, and some buttered rye bread, as is traditional. So if you have any questions about this, please leave them in the comments below, and you can check out our website at emptybowlsthunder.com, and I'll post the recipe there. And thanks to Rachel Globensky for sending this one in for us.